got something caught in my throat. Anyway.
All right, I think we are almost live here. Okay, we're live. Welcome. Thank you everybody for joining me for this episode of Soul Elevation, Guiding Your Ascension to New Heights. I'm your host, Kara Goodwin, and I'm on this live stream here on YouTube with my friend Sally Knopp, and I'm so excited to have Sally here. Hello, Sally. Good morning.
Hello, Kara. Thank you for having me.
Well, Sally has been a guest a number of times here on Soul. Well, actually, I don't know if you've ever been on as Soul Elevation. I think it was Meditation Conversation when you've been on, but you've been on a number of times back when the podcast was called Meditation Conversation. And Sally is local to me here, which is unusual. A lot of my guests are not here in this area, but I've been able to actually meet with Sally in person. And we are friends, as I mentioned. We have a lot of mutual friends. And so it's just a real delight and honor to have her here today. And she's got such an exciting thing that she's been working on. And I can't wait to talk more about this because it's really helping you to tap into to multidimensional healing, energy healing. And so we will get to this, but I want to start by just reading your bio real quick, Sally, so that if there are people who need a refresher about who you are, they'll know. So Sally Knopp is a certified quantum healing hypnosis technique practitioner and certified emotion code practitioner, known for her work in multidimensional energy healing. Through years of client sessions and communication with the higher self, Sally discovered that language is a precise tool for directing energy and resolving imbalances across multiple dimensions. Her work shows that dis-ease, a disruption of natural ease, can exist beyond the physical body, including mental, astral, ancestral, karmic, and DNA level influences. She created the multidimensional energy healing Made Easy map, a step-by-step system that empowers people to locate and clear energetic blockages remotely, activate dormant DNA, and restore balance across dimensions. Designed for both beginners and experienced healers, the map allows individuals to heal themselves and others without reliance on external practitioners. So you can see why I'm so excited to talk about this today with Sally. This is such a beautiful offering that she's put together. But before we get to that, I want to give you an opportunity to remind people about your background in energy healing. So let's start with that.
Gosh. All right. So brief. I was working in corporate America, got very, very sick, and nobody was able to really help me because I had all this trapped emotional energy. And it just was balling up to the point where I couldn't sleep at night. I had a lot of anxiety, you know the drill. And one of my friends said, "You need to go see Dr. Cecile." And I'm like, she was my anesthesiologist when I first came into the world. How is she going to help me with anxiety? Just go see her. And it was going to see her that changed this whole thing. And I learned from her that she actually cured me of my anxiety. I have like no anxiety at all. I mean, I was on medicine I no longer need. And anyway, my whole system purged and cleared. And, I always say energy healing isn't for sissies sometimes because when you're really sick, the purge can be a little difficult, but it is so worth it at the end of the day because I got my life back. And it made me a believer that there are other ways to actually heal and reset. And she was the instigator of all that. And then it's like, oh, that opened the door to the rabbit hole. Now what do I want to learn? And so that was kind of the catalyst of it all. So
And then that led you, your journey includes studying a lot of different modalities, which I think is something that I would love to, again, I know we've talked about this in previous podcasts, but I think it's important to talk about just the wide breadth of study that you've had and different modalities that you've used, and how your own, because you are an energy healer and that has evolved. I mean, even in the few years, I mean, I've known you for a few years now, and it's been fascinating to see how it continues to evolve. You know, when I first got to know you, I think like there was a quantum pen or something that was important to your practice. And then, oh, you've got it there. So,
0 point energy pen. Yep.
yes, and there have been different iterations. So, if you can just give a little bit of an overview of the different places that you've gone with energy healing.
Well, it's an evolution for sure.
Mhm.
And I think that's true for anybody who jumps into this. And what I learned, especially through COVID, because as a QHHT practitioner, we have to see our clients in person. And that wasn't obviously going to work. So that's when I became certified in Dr. Bradley Nelson's body code emotion code. And I realized through that even though it's a very simple technique, he wrote a book, The Emotion Code, which was very interesting. I recommend people read it. Um, that people can actually heal themselves, but he's looking for trapped emotional energies in the body. And so he said, you know, you can remove one trapped emotion energy at a time. And I'm like, that's like Dolores Cannon saying, hold my beer, you know, because she was all like, I can remove chunks of energy out at a time. And so then that experiment began. Okay, how far can we actually push this? So I understood that the subconscious mind has a specific language, and it really is a lot like programming a computer. And if you don't get the language right, you're not going to get the right or the results that you're looking for out of it. And so there could be a million things going on in a million different layers. Dolores Cannon teaches us this, you know, there are multiple bodies and there's multiple dimensions. And as I'm going through the process, I had especially one little boy, and I know I've told you this, but it really tugs at my heartstrings. The 8-year-old little boy who had severe eczema to the point where he was wearing long sleeves to school and kids would make fun of him. And I remember working with mom, and her testimonial is on my website if anybody wants to go watch her video at sallyknopp.com and see what she says. But when I tuned into him, when I'm sitting there talking to her, I said, I think he's allergic to garlic. And she goes, oh no, he's already been tested for that. He doesn't have any food allergies at all. And I said, yeah, I just know it's garlic. And so I said, well, let me work with them and see. So this is early on tuning in and making that connection between what Dr. Bradley Nelson teaches and marrying it to what Dolores Cannon has taught. And then that's when the bells started going. He had a garlic allergy, but it was in the mental body and not even the mental dimension, which is very different. It was in the mental body. I cleared that out and he has got no allergies at all, completely gone. And no doctor would have ever found that because they're not looking in the mental body for something that's affecting you physically. But like Dolores Cannon said, as well as even Dr. Brad, anything that you experience in life, even ancestral energy, can stream through and affect your health. So, but in order to clear it, you got to be able to find it.
Wow,
So,
that's wonderful. So, all of this, you know, you've mentioned a couple of things, and I know that your practice and your techniques have continued to evolve just with your own curiosity and your own intuition and your own willingness to kind of keep pushing, like, how can I make this faster? How can I make this like more powerful? How can I, and always with that view of how can I help this person with for what's in their highest good. You know, if they're meant to continue with this, then, I don't want to get in the way. I always want to make sure that they're empowered and that they have, full authority. And I feel like that's an important background piece to what has led to this latest creation of the map and the wanting to help people to tune in deeper into their own wisdom and their own abilities. But let's tell us about this map and its creation.
So once I realized that I love Dr. Bradley Nelson. I think it's a very powerful tool that anybody who's starting, it's a great way to learn how to understand you have the power to start removing trapped emotional energies. But because, like I said, Dolores Cannon keeps chirping in that there's all these multiple dimensions that you need to go in to clear, and understanding that language is key. Over the past several years, I've been honing what is that light language, or that language, not light language, excuse me, that language that is needed in order to affect the healing. So this map, when I set it up, I realized, well, let me back up. Part of the reason for setting this map up is when I realized, going through all these different modalities, they're all boiling down and saying the same thing. And it comes down to some very basic principles that anybody can do, even children. And that is attention, intention, and attunement. And when you can tap in to somebody's higher self, as Dolores Cannon calls the subconscious, then you can ask the permission of the higher self. Are they ready for this particular healing? And I have been told no, because sometimes there's a lot of reasons why. There could be attachments that don't want their food removed, or it could be, and it has happened many times, that that soul needs to be aware of a lesson that needs to come forward. So, as powerful as this is, you can only take them as far as the higher self is going to allow. So, and when I'm working as a QHHT practitioner and I have you under, one of the questions I might ask once we find that there's an issue is, well, what have we learned? And so the person has to walk through that. So when you're doing this type of work, even using this map, you can be talking with your client and you say, okay, there's a reason why you're angry and it's not allowing me to remove it. We need to maybe talk about this. And then once you say, well, no, I'm not angry. And I'm like, I'm beginning to feel it is. So, if you want to think about it for a while, let me know, or just forgive yourself, then that will start to break things loose. But it all comes down to understanding what the language is and understanding that you have the power for yourself, that you can affect change. I don't know if I answered all that or if I left anything out.
No, so that was kind of the drive behind what got you thinking. So was the language a big part of that? Like, oh, okay,
Language is everything.
yeah, and then the attention, intention, attunement. And so then how did that play into the idea and the creation of the map?
I realized that because energy healing is so specific and that language is so key, that I just actually began to write down notes. And as I'm beginning to affect change in people's lives for the better and they're feeling amazing, the next question they say, oh, I wish I could do this for my son, or I wish I could do this for my friend. And I'm like, well, you can. And here's how you do it. Here's how you do it. This is how you set yourself up. This is the word you need to speak, and then see what happens. So, at that point, they begin to contact me back. Oh my gosh, you're not going to believe it. I had this change and they're feeling amazing. I'm thinking, I probably ought to make a map and just make it easy. And when I first started making the map, I was making it for those clients of mine who are wanting to affect change themselves. And then I realized, shouldn't everybody have access to this? I mean, because anybody can do this if they knew the right steps, if they know how to turn on, tune in, and become attuned to the person and have the right language, then they can start feeling better themselves. It doesn't have to be complicated. And I think in our world, we always overcomplicate things, that you have to have certain rituals and you have to do this and you have to do that. Stand on, your right foot and face east at 3 a.m. and cluck like a chicken. I don't know. But the thing of it is, anybody can do it and it is very simple. But you have to have the right language. It's just like programming a computer. Are not, if you want to say search for dogs and you type in FOX, you're going to get a four-legged furry critter, but it's not going to be a dog. So language is key. And that is the part or the piece that Dolores Cannon brings into this mix. And that's why I say this is why I married the two together. But then with Bradley Nelson, he stayed stuck pretty much in the physical body. He does talk about entities. He talks about the mind a little bit, but there are so many other layers to this. And then that's just that piece that Dolores brings in once again. And that's why I wanted to simplify it and make it easy and accessible, because I'm convinced that everybody who just puts their mind to it can do it. There are no exceptions in my mind. If you have the willingness and the desire, it can be done.
So let's talk about what this map is, because of course, like the common way that we use the word map is like more to do with geography, but you've talked a lot about the body and the layers of the body. So talk us through what this is.
It is an interactive map, and I don't know if we can do a screen share. I probably should have asked that before.
I think I just need to make you a host. Let's try it. Make host. Do you see some sort of prompt?
You are now host. Okay.
Okay. And then do you know how to share in Zoom? There's a share button down at the bottom.
Yes. All right. So that's the landing page. Can you see it?
Yes, it just came up.
Okay. So this is the landing page. And I have my little lady up here because one of the key things that everybody always forgets is they always forget to disconnect. When you get done working on anybody, disconnect, because otherwise you're dragging their stuff along with you, and then it's like having too many tabs on your computer. But this is the landing page. This is what people will see, and it just has a bunch of information here. But going to answer that question more specifically, the home page, it's a map. So as I'm tuned into people, the first place I'm going to go is here. And if you don't know how, if you are new to energy healing, this is an absolute must start place. This will give you the exact words to say, the next step to do, but it also provides step-by-step instructions on video. So I do it both ways. So once that's done, as I'm tuned in, I may ask the higher self, is there an imbalance, say, let's just go to the physical body, because that's the one that gets really layered. And as you come to this part, you can say, can you just do the healing prayer for the physical body? People who are not overly out of balance, this generally works. And usually the higher self will never lie to you. It will direct you the next step. This is what's so beautiful. That's what these videos tell you. The higher self will tell you the next step to take. You don't have to insert yourself into it. Allow the person's higher self to guide you. So let's just say we need to go down to systems. and this is probably the one that is the most layered, which is why I'm showing it to you. People have a lot of digestive issues. And we can keep drilling down and drilling down and drilling down. Again, allowing the higher self to tell us where to go and the
And
different
how are,
healing
and
prayers.
I'm sure that this is part of the introduction and orientation to this, but for people who are watching now, how are people receiving the guidance from the higher self?
That is a very good question. So that's actually addressed in this very first part. So as you tune in, so you would have to center yourself, just like if you're going to go into a meditation. You have to kind of take your deep breaths, sort of ground yourself. And then for me, and everybody's different. For me, I just say the Lord's Prayer because I want to make sure that my space is fully clear of any negative energies. You place that bubble of protection around you, right? So you want to make sure that you're encased in a bubble of Christ consciousness or whatever your belief system is for you to make sure that you are fully protected. And then most people use the pendulum. I use the pendulum. But as you go through using this and as you develop, you'll find that the pendulum's not needed. You're going to feel your body. And as Dolores Cannon talks, you can always read what your subconscious mind is telling you. Your subconscious mind will never lie to you. The subconscious mind is in the what we call the Ethernet, almost like the internet, but it's the Ethernet. And by placing your attention and intention on somebody specific with the intention of full attunement, you are connecting with the higher self. So I can demonstrate with you if you want me to.
Sure.
So I would have, I've already done my thing
Do you
in getting
think it's
myself
better
protected.
because, sorry, Sally, nobody can see you? Is it important that people see you? They're only going to be able to see the screen.
Ah, yeah, let's go ahead and stop sharing.
And we can go
All
back to
right.
that.
All right. So at any rate, I have my pendulum and well, actually, I have your name written down. Dr. Teresa Bullard, and you'll find her on Mystery Teachings on Gaia. Love her. And others, Greg Braid and Bruce Lipton, Dolores Cannon. They've all had huge influence. RJ Spina, another one, huge influence over this work. And I use, like you said, that pen. What is that pen? This is a 0 point energy pen. You can get knockoffs. I made that mistake, but there is a link on my website. I don't get anything out of it, but you want to get the right tool. So if you are working in quantum physics, you'll understand that even writing down the name and then speaking the word out loud is imprinting the quantum field. And so that's how you do it. So I would write down your name, take the 0 point energy pen and tune in.
Now,
And so,
sorry, this may be such a basic question. I think I know the answer, but when you're talking about writing and then you're talking about the 0 point pen, what I understand is the pen is kind of like a wand almost. So you're writing with an ink pen, and then you're using that 0 point pen
over it.
in the quantum. Is that right? Okay.
All right. So I would simply focus on you and I would say place attention, intention, and attunement on Kara Goodwin, Kara Goodwin, Kara Goodwin. Place attention, intention, attunement on Kara Goodwin, Kara Goodwin, Kara Goodwin. And so by stating it out loud, you're affecting the quantum field. And the 0 point energy pen is an amplifier. Dr. Bradley Nelson uses a magnet over the governing meridian. I know it all looks silly, but there is something to it, and that's the key. And if you can get yourself out of the road, and I teach you how to do that on one of those videos, and it's very simple, and you tune into the higher self. Again, I teach you how to do that. Then you can ask the higher self. So I can just simply ask, are you ready?
Yep.
All right. Do we have full attention, intention, and attunement with Kara Goodwin? All right. Is she ready to receive God's divine love? And I always say that first. Yes. So you're ready to go. Now, the problem working with Kara is that her energy is extremely clean and she's extremely healthy. So it's going to be hard to find any imbalances there, but that's how I would start it. So yeah, and I'm feeling right now your energy is extremely uh you're really good. So I mean if we had maybe somebody who wasn't, we could probably demonstrate further, but I don't have anything that I can correct with you.
Well, that's a big compliment. Thank you.
You do it right, Kara. You do. You live right. So yeah, but if I would do we would look for reasons and sources, um, seen, unseen, hidden, and underlined in all dimensions and all bodies. And then we would go through and start dialing it down. So if I'm using the map, let me go back to share. So if let's just say Kara does have something going on. Let's just say um, she's told me to go just for giggles. You told me to go to the blueprint energy field, and now how that would happen, I'd say, all right, is there an imbalance with Kara? Yes. Okay. Is it in the blueprint energy field? Yes. And no. So I click on blueprint energy field. Now I've got to be more specific. All right, is this a blueprint energy or is it an imprint energy? And you might tell me, oh, well, it's an imprint energy. All right, so I got to go and I got to clear that. And once I clear that, then I go back to home and then I'll say, all right, going through that first question, is there search for any reasons or sources, seen, unseen, underlying, or hidden, that is causing an imbalance? And do I go to the right side or do I go to the left side? Well, let's just say, well, we need to go to the left side. So, okay.
Oh, okay. Wait, let me just make sure I'm following here because this is fascinating. So if so because you're back one screen from where you just were, where you were looking at the blueprint energy. Now we're back at just kind of like where is the um where do we want to focus? Where does the higher self want us to focus? And there were two columns. So you don't even really need to, like, if you're newer to this, and because there might be people listening who are like, wait a minute, I don't even know what an imprint would be, or like an energetic blueprint, or so even if you don't yet fully understand what that is, you might be guided to it through the use of the pendulum, through the use of the questions, the queries, and the prompts, and the pendulum. You will be able to navigate through this, even if you're still kind of coming to terms with what the blueprint is. Is that right?
Right. Yeah. And so what I do is if you see on the left side of the map, you're going to find out all the information about it. And then you have on the right side, the evaluation and the correction. So if
Okay.
we go back to the home and just even to the blueprint, um, this blueprint, now that's a long energy healing prayer right
And
there.
go
You
ahead
can
and
see it.
explain what that is because that's not as well known. So and plus people will be more people listen to the audio than look at the video. So if so, just explain, just because we've been guided to this, and I find it
Mhm.
fascinating, like what is a blueprint and an imprint?
So the blueprint energetic field is everything that you've ever been, ever will be. It's everything. It's all your higher selves. It's everything. It's all your incarnations. It's all there. And if you want details of what that is and how it affects you, it's all right here on the the left side of the map, including videos to tell you more about it. And it just goes through everything. I mean, I've got so much information here. It's not going to leave you hanging. You're going to know everything you want to know and more. And then on the other side, I have the how to heal or cure, and I want to be careful how I say the word cure because that's the intention, and intention is for the cure, but we can't make guarantees of cure, right? So, and we always tell everybody work with your healthcare provider. just that caveat said. But secure the blueprint energy field. Just like defragging a computer, things can get fragmented. Now, the next question is, well, I should have gone back. Sorry, I should have hit the back button. I didn't. So you want to know what the imprint is. Now, that's the interesting one. That is about like borrowing a book from a library. So say, for example, Kara, that you want to go out there and you want to change the world, right? You want to go out there and you want to conquer the world. You want to be empress of the universe, right? Let's just say that's something that you want to do. And so you've never done that in any of your past incarnations. So what you might do is go over to Cleopatra and say, well, she was empress of her universe. So let me take a copy out of her book that will help me with how to navigate that part of my life that I'm eventually going to go through. So it's like giving you a program that is helps you navigate through certain aspects of what you planned in your pre-birth planning, how to get through that. Because without some type of a program, you're going to be lost. You're not going to know what to do because everybody has all the answers if they just quiet their mind and listen to their bodies. Now, to kind of drive that home a little bit, when I have people in QHHT and I hone in on a quote past life, um, when I hone in on somebody who has had a past life, but they can't get beyond a certain thing, like they can't see themselves as old or they can't see anything young, and they're like at age 32, I know that that's an imprint. So as a QHHT practitioner, it's incumbent upon me to say, is this part of the blueprint or part of the imprint? Because it's going to matter, and then how to clear it out. Right. So that's why the map becomes very important, because you have to have the right language to extract it out. Otherwise, you leave these fragments around. So if you have the right language, you can do anything. So I hope that makes sense. Did you want me to go back to the map?
Yeah, I think that there's more to look at there if you want to go in. I'm so impressed with this. This is amazing. I'm it's really, really smart. If
Oh,
you're just watching, or sorry, if you're just listening to this, this might be one that's worthwhile to go and watch the video, so that you can see what Sally's created here. But it's really in depth because let's look here. We've got blueprint energy field as one area you can go into. Then there's the mental body, the emotional body, energies, dimensions, and chakras, pathogens and toxins, past life that most attracts you to, affects you today.
sexy. Mm-hmm.
Spirit body, physical body, misalignments, disconnections, DNA, genes, stem cells, ancestral soul contracts, nutrition, outside needs, frequencies, color therapy. So there are so many different elements that you might be guided to. And again, I just want to reemphasize that she's made it so that it is so user friendly. So if you're listening to this and you're like, well, I haven't gone to med school, I don't really even know what a pathogen is, and so I don't know how I would know how to identify that or how to clear it or, what it might be. But that's where you use your pendulum to be guided to the right place where the higher self is directing you to go for you or for the person you're working on behalf of. And you can just keep drilling down using your pendulum, using the guidance that you're getting from the higher self. And you don't have to then already have all this background knowledge. Yeah, because she's gone into now pathogens and toxins, that category. There's mold, virus, toxins, bacteria, fungal, parasites, and it keeps going. And so it's really comprehensive. But then, if you drill down into viruses, then there's the explanation, but there's the evaluation and correction. So it's got exactly written out what it is that you would say in order to, like, if you're guided, because this is a virus, okay, well, here's exactly what to say to work on that for you or for the person that you're working with. So it's really, really beautiful.
Yeah, and toxins, there's so many different types of toxins that you need to look at and how to clear them and where to clear them. And it walks you through, like, so you may have peanut allergies and maybe none of the others, or maybe you have both, or but it walks you through it and gives you how to clear each one of those and how to tune in and figure it out. So yeah, it's very interactive and user friendly. Anybody can use this map. And it gets you right down to DNA, genes, and stem cells. And actually, I think, and activating the DNA, we did that with you, Kara. We activated your DNA.
I think I was
Yeah,
one of
so
the first.
you were. That's why this is here. It's because of you.
All right.
And some others. So, but anyway, there's some genes that can be cleared, or actually you can, especially ADHD, like I've done for my son, and some others,
Oh, tell
they
us
can be
about that.
cleared.
Did you
Yeah, they
say
actually,
clear?
yeah, you can go through and you can delete the negative messaging in the genes and encode them with positive messaging. So, and I walk you through how to do that. It's made a difference with my son who has ADHD a lot, a lot. So
Mm.
also we've stimulated stem cells. So I have a friend who recently had, no, she didn't tell anybody that she was not feeling good, and she ended up having a bowel eruption. And through that course of when that happened, she literally flatlined as she got to the hospital because
Oh
she
my
became
God.
toxic. And they had to remove like most of her small intestines, and she was in the hospital for 3 months, and she had a 2% chance of life.
Oh my gosh.
And so we started doing this. And I say we because sometimes when things get really tough, even though I'm doing it, I'll bring on maybe one or two people and we'll say the healing prayers together. As you know, with the power of eight, it's a bit of an amplification, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, and so we started working with her, and she was out of the hospital in 3 months instead of 6. And she's doing really, really well. And then she said, "Can you regrow a colon?" And I said, "Well, now that sounds like a new challenge. Let's stimulate those stem cells and see what happens." So you'll have to stay tuned for that one. I don't know
Oh,
what will happen there.
wow. That's amazing.
But
So that brings me to a question that has been also kind of swimming in my mind as we've gone through this. Are these one and dones? Are they protocols that you do regularly? Do you, or like, because if you're guided to zero in on something,
mhm.
is the expectation that you just do it one time? So let's, whether maybe like the ADHD example, if you know somebody who's dealt with that for their whole life, is this something that you go in and you do it one time and there's improvement, or is there a recommended repeat protocol?
Well, like I said, energy healing, I've always said this, is not for sissies, because depending on everything is a spectrum, right? So there are people who are just a little bit out of a balance to people who have cancer, right? And I've actually walked people back from end stage pancreatic cancer. And her name is Kay, and she got well. So in fact, she went into full remission at end stage pancreatic cancer. That never happens.
Yeah,
And
I
so,
think we
but
talked about that in one of our
we
episodes. That was
have,
amazing. Yeah.
yeah. And that's the power of this type of energy healing work that I do, and why I put it up on that map, because you can actually affect change. And just like my friend Kathy, who didn't die, and now is in complete full recovery, and now she just needs to regrow an intestine, which is going to be a challenge. But it usually, um like I would say, like Shrek. Shrek said he's like layers, right? So you get rid of the outside stuff, the stuff that's more on top, and then you go and you start drilling down. This map, if you can stick with it every week or every 2 weeks, you can drill down and pull out a lot more. But you can only pull out so much at once. And I tested that theory because I've taught my sister how to use this map. And I said, now I want you to test me, and there's something I want you to do. I had a nervous system dysregulation. Well, no surprise, considering my high levels of anxiety that brought me to this work anyway. And so when she tuned in, she corrected the nervous system. I said, I want you to go full power on this, give me as much as you can. And so, two stupid dogs here sitting working with energy healing. It's like, okay, sure, let's do it. And then I was, 6 hours later, I was sitting home alone, waiting for my husband to come home. I'm watching TV. And all of a sudden, I feel kind of this sharp pain in my temple here. And I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel very good. And then all of a sudden, it felt like my brain turned off and then turned back on. And it's like I started to slump to the side. It's like, but then I was fine. And like, what happened? And it was just amazing. I thought, did I have a stroke? I'm checking. I'm like, no, I feel great. In fact, I feel amazing. I feel better now than I've ever felt. But that's what I'm saying. You want to be able to go as far as the higher self will allow. And of course, me always pushing the envelope, I wanted to see how far, what would it be like to feel it when it's that edge too far? And then it made me realize, yeah, need to dial it back. So when people actually go through it, I usually book my appointments once every week. So if you're doing this yourself, you want to tune in maybe once or what, twice a month, or once a week or twice a month. Don't overload it, because anything that you're feeling, any symptoms, any emotions, anything that's going on can actually feel slightly worse for a little bit before it feels better. But if you have the right technique, you can breathe through it. Or in some cases, most people say, I just felt like a sudden need to take a nap. And so they'll want to lay down and take a nap, and usually it goes. What you don't want to do is fight it, because that energy is going to come out. And if you fight it, it's going to lengthen it and make you feel worse. So if you're not in a place where you need to take a nap and you can't, you simply close your eyes and deep breathe, and it will pass pretty quickly. And then you can go back. And it's usually the first few times that you do it with people that they feel it. And then they just go from feeling where they are just to feeling a whole lot better. So I don't usually see a big setback. But like I've told people who are really, really sick, people who have had cancers and whatnot, because you've got a lot of toxins in your body may purge. You may have vomiting and diarrhea once you go through this. But how you'll know it's energy healing is that it'll just come up. There won't be any nausea. You'll just vomit, and you won't have any cramps. And it'll just be, your body will just be purging. And then keep yourself hydrated and then see where you are. But it can be very powerful, and everybody can do it. And that's why I made the map, to make it easy, to walk you through step by step, allow the higher self to navigate where you need to go next. And it's just a simple skill of how to tune into that person, which we cover under that red button. Start here, and I walk you exactly through. And it's not hard. It's actually quite easy. And once you realize how easy it is, you're like, it's like smacking your head. I could have had a V8, that sort of thing. So I hope that answers that.
Yeah, this is amazing. Well, how can people explore this for themselves? Where can they find it?
They can find it at MDHmap.com. Let me bring that up real quick so they can see the landing page again in case they missed it. And then, oh, by the way, just so you know, I even have an expanded video library here too that that this is only available to people who pay for this subscription.
And we can't see it yet. Did you think you
Oh,
were sharing?
yeah,
There we go.
it didn't share. Yeah, it didn't, but it's a video library.
Oh, wow.
So Yeah, and so that's for the people who subscribe to the map, it's exclusive to them.
Okay.
Um,
So is this a subscription or how
it
does that work?
is, it is, and it's like it's just $12 a month. I mean,
$12. Oh my gosh. That's
I
nothing.
know, or it's
Wow.
$125 a year, only because I need to
Wow.
pay for our hosting,
Yeah.
and that's just sort of covers that.
The
But
hosting and the information that's in here, like there's a whole body. I mean, this is a whole body of work here. That's amazing. That's an amazing, amazing value.
I want people to be able to access it because I have faith they can cure themselves. And I truly mean that. If I didn't believe it, I wouldn't put my name out there for this because, I'm a broker and I have a Florida license and all that. So I believe in this. I'm
Yeah.
putting my reputation on the line here, but I believe in it and I want to make it accessible to everybody because I have worked with people who didn't have a lot of money or just have so much debt that you can work on your abundance here, clear those negative patterns and get your abundance rolling in so you have an amazing future, and $12 a month makes it accessible to everybody. I met people who their lives have changed because they were able to afford it. Otherwise, there's always people charging so much money to get healed, and a lot of people they just don't have the funds for it. So this is my retirement job. This is what I love. This is my passion, and I want to make it available to everybody. So it is here at mdhmap.com. That's what this is, mdhmap.com, right there, just .com.
Yeah. And I think that if people think about this, like the way that I think about things like this are if you can stay on top of your health and your well-being and that of your loved ones, and you can work on things as they start to show up and they're just kind of whispering to you. You've got a resource like this, which is nothing, I mean, in terms of investment. And to be able to just be tuning into yourself and like you talked about the layers and the levels and that piece of it. It's like there's so many layers to this. There is the physical healing, there's the things that you'll be able to recognize as they happen. But there's also the more you work with this and the more that you understand just how powerful you are, and you start to extract that energy back that you have been giving to external things to help you get better, and you start to realize how much is within you, the knock-on effects of that in your life and being able to understand how powerful you are and how that can bleed out into the rest of your life, it can change everything. Like it's
Well, the
so
ripple,
powerful.
it's the ripple effect, like parents who have dealt with addictions no longer have addictions because you're able to clear. And some of them are the ancestor energies that I have found that it's just getting that corrected. Where does it come from? How to clear it? Soul contracts can also be that. And the ripple effect is how does it affect your children? Their children's lives, improve. And then that just goes on down the line. And what's really cool about this ancestor clearing, by the way, my sidestep here, don't mean to go complete squirrel on you, but any ancestor energy that you clear out of yourself will clear out of everybody that it touched.
Yes. Yes,
So there
things
is
work. And
that.
that is backwards through time too, which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of mind-blowing,
Mm-hmm.
but that's how DNA is multidimensional, multifaceted, and it's not bound by time. So,
Right, right.
yeah.
And I'm surprised how many imprints and soul contracts have to be dealt with in this. Um, and I walk you all through it. So this is where you're going to spend a lot of your time here, or especially the dimensions and
Right.
how to
So,
clear each dimension. What's
right. So
interesting
this is
is
a
that, mhm.
Oh, I was just going to say,
So,
in case people can't see it, this is energy. This category was energy, chakras. Can you go back one screen, please? Um, Energies, hidden energies, and chakras. And then there are like 6 categories here: physical trauma, aggressive energies, ancestor energies, prosperity, dimensions, DNA genes, DNA/genes. So
mhm.
all of those categories none of which are really physical symptoms, so it's just really like it just, again, so many layers, all these dimensions here. Yeah, this is amazing.
Mhm. Yeah, and I take you through all of it step by step. There's the only guessing you have is when you start second guessing yourself, and we cover that in these tutorial videos that are on here.
Yeah. Well, Sally, this is so beautiful. I'm so excited for you for this, and I'm so proud of you because I know
Yeah, well,
that
thank
even
you.
from when we first met, you were, and this was several years ago, and you were just like, I really want to share what I've learned because I'm not going to be doing this forever, but I've got a lot of knowledge and I've got a lot of, I just want like as many people as possible to benefit from what I've been able to do. And now I'm like seeing this and what you've created, and it's really powerful. It's such a beautiful gift for humanity.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for the work that you've put into this because it's been a lot of work that's gone into that.
It has been, but it's been a labor of love. And, if it helps one person, it's done its job.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, I've loved this conversation, and you've talked about how people can get the map, which is mdhmap.com, right?
Mhm.
And how can people connect with you?
You can connect with me at sallyknopp.com and or they can connect on that site too. I mean, you can find me. I'm out there on both those websites. You'll find me.
Yeah, and you do a lot on YouTube as well. So that's it-
Miracles of Consciousness
miracles.
Radio. Yep.
Yes, I couldn't
My
remember
my
what the
little
first word was.
channel, my little channel is growing, and we have a common friend that has now joined me and doing all things woo. And we're having a fun time demonstrating how people can talk to the higher self on Miracles of Consciousness Radio. So we do some fun remote viewing, what we call associated remote viewing, because our target is known. And going into the theta state, we have a look see what's going on, where's Bigfoot, which you joined us on one of those. But actually we kind of leveled that up since then. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's
find
wonderful.
me there too. That'd be great.
Yes, and I'll put a link. And in fact, I think I can make you a collaborator on this once we're finished, and then it can be on your channel too.
Yay. That sounds great.
Yeah,
And thank you for
beautiful.
having me. And
Thank you.
I hope that people will take advantage of tuning into themselves and knowing that you are superhuman. And by the way, if I could, and I won't take much of your time here, I
Yeah, go
just want to
ahead.
be able to, um, I want to share this because it's important because people who think they can't do it, I challenge you. I challenge you. This is a challenge. All right. Do you see sallyknott.com?
Yep.
All right. If you scroll down, there's this video right here. I want people to go in and watch it. It's 3 minutes. I take this time to make that cloud disappear through attention and intention. And it's not a parlor trick. You can see there's the trees blowing in the background and all that. Now, this was made before AI. But anyway, for 3 minutes, I go through it. But at
Yes.
the end, you can see it disappearing and it completely disappears.
Yes. Cloud dissolving is such a wonderful way to connect with the power within us.
Well, then you can
Beautiful.
see, that's something that's so far up in the air, and it's even if you did have it in front of you, it's like fog, you wouldn't be able to do anything with it. But through power, attention, intention. And the reason I tell people to start dissolving clouds is that you have to know that you are that powerful. You
Hmm.
you are that powerful.
Yeah.
You got this.
Yes. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Sally. What a joy. I've loved this conversation. I'm so grateful to have you here. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
You have to give me the host back so I can come off of YouTube.
How do I do that?
Or can I reclaim? Oh, I can reclaim it. Okay.